Hi, this video is about 100xing your prompting capabilities with hyperprompt, specifically this new Giga prompting feature set we released just today, and I'm going to show you how it works in this video, and hopefully you'll get pretty excited. So if I start a new conversation here, there's a few different things that we can do here, and right now down here this is where the Giga prompting's options lives. Now we're going to make it a little prettier here shortly, so if it looks different, it should look a lot better. We also have a variety of models you can use right now, and we're adding, actually it should say Midjourney. We're adding Midjourney soon, along with several other models. So if there's a particular model you're interested in, let me know. Let us know. But let's zero in on these stackable pieces that I think enable a lot more functionality within when you're interacting with these models. Specifically Tree of Thoughts. So if you haven't seen the Tree of Thoughts paper, long story short, what it does is it solicits the model for ideas on how to respond, and then it evaluates those ideas, and you can loop it. So you could actually loop it 3 times. So essentially it's generating 9 unique ideas, and then the models are actually really good at evaluating themselves, ironically, and then it can pick the best of those 9 ideas. So this is like a quality booster type of option. Here's a prompt multiplier. I'm kind of surprised I haven't seen anybody do this because this is really simple. It basically just takes whatever, let's say we're using GPT 3.5, and I say set grow, and if I do 3 here, it is going to give me 3 responses out. Now this last one is variations, and here's an example. Let me copy and paste this up here. And so what we're doing here is this is taking one input and it's forking into a bunch of different outputs. So you can see right here in each one of these, this is output options. So many times when I'm wanting to put in a prompt, I'm not sure, should I use this word or this phrase or this word or this phrase? I don't know. So this is the solution to just use both and then move forward. So this actually has 2 options here, 2 options here, and 2 options here. So this will actually do 2 times 2 times 2. This will create 8 variations. Now what we could do is we could do that times 2. It's going to take those 8 variations and it's going to create 16 outputs. So it's basically for every end raw variation that comes out of these, it's going to run that 2 times. So for example, let's put this over here. I want you to be an expert on marketing. Let me pause. So the first iteration of the first kind of final variation is going to be, I want you to be an expert on marketing. My goal is to reach as many of my target market as possible. Reach as many of my target market. Please output marketing brainstorming. All right, so it's going to do this twice with this multiple. And you could enable the Tree of Thoughts on top of all of that, but there's a caveat with the Tree of Thoughts that I'm going to talk about in just a second. So let's look at actually what can be done with this. So we'll go to GPT-4. I did most of my tests with there. So this is also, you have a folder system, and I could search within here if I wanted to, but there's a variety of different ideas that is. So let's click into here, and you can see I've kind of noted these notes over here are conversation level notes. And so this is, I used GPT-4 and I did Tree of Thoughts with 3 loops. And the Tree of Thoughts, so this is the input and this is the final output after going through the Tree of Thoughts. And this will be formatted a little bit better, but if you want to see like what its work was, you can see Tree of Thought loop number 1. So we did 3 loops, and it's asking for 3 ideas. You got 1, and you got 2, and then you got 3 down here, and then it rates each of the ideas. I guess the 3s. So this was a bit of a funky response because I asked for ideas. It actually generated, this first idea is actually all the way through here. It's generating 3 ideas as an idea. The prompts that we use for Tree of Thoughts could use some improvements. So this is not a perfect process right now. GPT-4 generally does get it a little bit better, but it uses a lot of credits because these are, each one of these, each loop in Tree of Thoughts is actually 2 prompts and 2 outputs. So we're actually calling GPT-4 6 times here, if not 7. I can't remember if there's a one on the end. But long story short, you can go in and you can see the work from Tree of Thoughts. So let's go back. And there's a lot of little things in here that I know are going to can be improved. Feel free to send those all over to me or us, and we're happy to take some suggestions. Okay, so here is an example. Actually, the Tree of Thoughts created an error, and so it didn't actually finish this job. We're working on that. So here's where Tree of Thoughts did work. The more Tree of Thoughts you do, there's just a certain percentage of the time where it kind of causes the job to error out. But so we did Tree of Thoughts times with 2 loops, and then prompt multiplier twice. So how can I get healthier was the input, and this was GPT-4. Here's showing the work with the Tree of Thought loop number 1 and loop number 2, and then we get 2 different outputs. So these are essentially comments right here, and you can add more comments if you want. It's kind of a separate feature. It was built for a social aspect to be able to comment on the inputs and outputs without affecting the context window. So anything put into here, if I put in another input, it's going to use the above text as a context window, but it's going to ignore what's inside the comments. Let's go further. Okay, so this was just a no Giga prompting, just kind of like a normal. I just did sub broski dude man guy to GPT-4. Okay, here's where I did GPT-4 prompt multiplier, prompt variations. I think this is where the rubber really hits the road. These 2 together enables a lot of possibilities for prompting, where you have 2 variations right here, but then we're also doing 2 of those each. So we got delicious meal tips and healthy tips. So this is it looks like they're not talking about healthy here. So this one should also be delicious twice in a row, and then I guess they're kind of close enough in meaning to each other where it's kind of hard to tell the difference. We're just very shortly we're going to add whatever the final output is above. So this right here should actually be like right above here as like the input, so that we'll know. So this, imagine if you did GPT-4 with prompt multiplier times 3. I don't know if you really want to go that much higher, but the prompt variations you could do 3 by 3 by 3, variations times 27. So this, it could really stack up to be a lot of different inputs and outputs. And we have a solution for organizing that, because putting that all in one conversation is going to be a little bit cumbersome. And so very shortly there'll be an auto organization of these if you generate a ton of these outputs. So here's just variations. You could see I did 2 variations, 1, 2, nice and simple. And this is where I did all 3, and it failed. Currently working on that, but soon we'll be able to do that. I don't think it really makes a lot of sense usually to do Tree of Thoughts with the other things. You're kind of doing an alternative to Tree of Thoughts in a way, as you're generating a wide range of outputs and potentially looking for the best one. Tree of Thoughts is a bit more of like generating a wide range of outputs and narrowing it down to one. Okay, I'll show you real quick also, GPT 3.5 tests are similar. So variations does not work with a Dolly right now, but it should soon, and the prompt multipliers does. So if you wanted to generate a bunch of monkey ninja robots, you could just do new conversation, prompt multiplier 5. This should happen pretty quickly. Super cool ninja monkey robots. This would be the appropriate way to do it. And I'll go ahead and make a note. Dolly PN times 5. Save. So we'll come back to that in a second. So let me just show you kind of how the credits work. So if you go into the sign up, these are the different plans that we have right now. They're subject to change, so if you see this video much later, then maybe it'll be quite different. But there's a free plan that gives you a little bit of credits that you can play with a little bit. So if we go back to here, we can see kind of what some of the credits use. So 245 credits. If you're using like a lot of GPT-4 calls, it's going to be expensive. But the Dolly is really cheap. And GPT 3.5 is really inexpensive, so a lot of these jobs are going to be really inexpensive. But if you want to use GPT-4 and you want to use it a lot, you should probably get the at least this plan. This 25,000 credits goes. I did quite a bit of stuff with it, and I really did a lot. Only used about 2,000 of those credits. You will be able to buy credits for one-time batches, depending on the plan you're on. You'll get a better or worse deal. And there is an infinite plan. If you find that yourself using this a lot and generating a lot of outputs, then consider that plan. And there's only a few spots available. We can only let a few people in on that plan. And there's a really good chance that plan will go up in price pretty significantly shortly here too. So we can go back to our credit history and we can see that, which you can find here. It only used 0.1 credit for each Dolly. And so if we come here and refresh the page, you do have to currently refresh the page for it to come back up, but we'll fix that real soon. So it did 5 variations of super cool monkey ninja robots. I think this is going to be really useful for, especially when we add Midjourney and other image generation models. You can do not just the prompt multipliers, but you could stack it with the variations. So you could make like 100 images really, really quickly, and maybe narrow down and pick the best 5 and move forward with those. So there's a few more little features in here just to show you. We can search. So if I want to do monkey, you can see the different types of job. If I click into here, there's actually monkey within here. That's pretty useful. It's kind of weird to me that ChatGPT doesn't have a search. We can also archive things, which what it does is it's sort of like a hide, so you can see it's gone. And if I click that, it opens it up. There's some things you don't want to delete, but you might want to reference later. And even if we have this off, say cat, should show the archive suggestions. Cat toy suggestions. Yep. So you can always find it if you search for it. And if you want to create a new conversation or a new folder underneath these folders, so we have, this is a subfolder of hyperprompts testing, GPT-4 is. You can create whatever folder structure you want, and pretty shortly we're going to make it so that this can kind of stay open as well, so that when it's not reloading, every time it's reloading a page, it's not collapsing all these folders. So that's hyperprompts version 0.2, and hopefully this is interesting to you. Let me know what you think, and get in there and try to create a massive amount of prompts to make yourself more productive. And we have some pretty awesome next level stuff that we're planning as well. It's for another video. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you, and I'll put the link below to how to get access. And I hope to see you on the inside. Have a great day. Bye.